Cristiano Ronaldo, the greatest name in football for many. The true king, one of the best players that has ever existed, leader, champion, global icon, an athlete who conquered the world's greatest championships and wrote his name in the history of the sport. This is episode 6 of a series that tells the entire life of Cristiano Ronaldo. His goals, his achievements, his sacrifices, his challenges, and the path that transformed an ordinary boy into a legend of world football. Before the records, before the titles, and before becoming the greatest scorer in history, he went through trials, doubts, and decisive moments. In the previous episode, we saw the magical night at Alvalade that changed everything, and the moment Sir Alex Ferguson said, "You come with me now." Today, we cross the ocean to Manchester, where the weight of history met the shoulders of a boy. If you want to know everything that happened before Ronaldo went to Manchester, watch the previous episodes and subscribe to the channel, so you help me produce more episodes of this series. Manchester United in 2003 was not just a club, it was an empire under attack. David Beckham's departure to Real Madrid had left a black hole in the heart of the fans and in the club's finances. Sir Alex Ferguson needed an answer, a new hero. The original plan, however, was different. Ronaldinho Gaucho, the wizard in his purest and most mesmerizing state, recently crowned world champion in 2002, Ronaldinho was not just a player, he was the greatest global icon of football art. The man who made the planet stop to watch his smiles and impossible dribbles. He was at the absolute peak of his form, walking with great strides to be crowned in a short time the best player in the world. The deal was practically sealed, and the Manchester fans already saw in him the natural successor to the Magic, the genius who would transform Old Trafford into his private stage. But in a greatest blessing for Cristiano Ronaldo's destiny, it must be understood that if the best Ronaldinho in history had landed in Manchester, he would have been the absolute sun. Cristiano, still a diamond in the rough and full of jagged edges, would likely have spent his first years in the shadow of the Brazilian's magnitude, without the necessary freedom to make mistakes and mature. Ronaldinho's no left the throne vacant and desperate for a new hero, allowing Ferguson to transfer all of his expectation and protection to the boy from Madeira. It was this betrayal that opened the gates of immortality for Cristiano. On August 12, 2003, a private plane landed in Manchester. From it, world champion Ronaldinho did not descend, but rather a thin 18-year-old teenager with blonde highlights and braces on his teeth. Along with him arrived another Brazilian, Kleberson, a world champion indeed, coming from Atletico PR. On that day, the press focused on Kleberson as the immediate solution, while Cristiano was seen as an expensive gamble. Ferguson didn't want to wait. The terms were aggressive, £12.24 million. For the time, this value was a scandal for a player most Englishmen had never heard of. He became, in that instant, the most expensive teenager in the history of British football. While Kleberson was presented with the smile of someone who already held the World Cup in his hands, Cristiano received the number 7 shirt. Ferguson denied his request to wear number 28. "No, you will wear the 7. It was the shirt of Best, Cantona, and Beckham. The euphoria was absolute in the headlines. Ferguson has found Beckham's replacement. But euphoria in Manchester usually only lasts until the first training session. But the pressure on Cristiano's shoulders didn't just come from Beckham's shadow. It came from a Manchester United that, for the first time in decades, seemed vulnerable. The British press, merciless, was already writing Sir Alex Ferguson's professional obituary. The term Ferguson's Worst United stamped the sports columns. Many critics categorically stated that the cycle of the legendary Scottish manager had come to an end. The scenario was bleak for the Red Devils. In London, Arsene Wenger and Andre Henry's Arsenal was transforming into an unstoppable war machine, marching toward what would be the invincible season. Henry was not just a player, he was a force of nature who humiliated defenses week after week. Meanwhile, a new and dangerous power was emerging in West London. Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich had just bought Chelsea, injecting unprecedented fortune and buying everything that moved in the world market. United, once sovereign, found itself surrounded by a technically perfect Arsenal and a financially unbeatable Chelsea. Ferguson was in the eye of the storm, being called outdated, and it was in this environment of despair and reconstruction that an 18-year-old boy from Portugal would have to prove that Manchester's empire still had the breath to fight. Behind the luxury curtains of Old Trafford, Cristiano's dream began to transform into a test of survival. The atmosphere of euphoria gave way to a silent and painful drama. Cristiano did not speak English. He felt isolated. While the veterans laughed and talked in the locker room, he remained in silence, trying to understand where he was. He was a boy from Madeira Island, used to the sun, now trapped in the eternal rain of Manchester, living alone in a city that did not know him. United's locker room was led by Roy Keane, a captain who did not accept weaknesses. Keane and the veterans hated Cristiano's style. To them, his tight Versace clothes and his impeccable hair were signs of excessive vanity. The cruel nickname emerged quickly, "Show Pony." They said he was just smoke and no fire. In training at Carrington, the drama was physical. Paul Scholes and Keane directed violent challenges at the boy. They wanted to see if he would cry, if he would give up. Cristiano was knocked down, insulted for holding the ball too long, and ridiculed for his accent. There were moments when the frustration was visible in his eyes. He missed home, felt the weight of a nation that judged him by the price of his label. The tension in the locker room exploded in the relationship between Cristiano and the striker, Ruud van Nistelrooy. For Ruud, football was a science of goals. For the young Ronaldo, it was an expression of juggling. The conflict was constant. In training, Van Nistelrooy lost his patience and shouted in front of everyone, "Cross the fucking ball! You can't play with this kid!" While Cristiano lost himself in stepovers, the Dutchman fumed with hatred in the penalty area. Time for Cristiano seemed to run at a frenetic speed. Between his landing in Manchester and the deafening roar of Old Trafford, the clock marked only 4 days. Cristiano landed on Tuesday, August 12th, carrying little more than a carry-on bag and the courage of someone who knew that destiny waited for no one. Ferguson was relentless and possessive. He did not allow the boy to return to Portugal even to collect the rest of his things or formally say goodbye to his family. The boss wanted him there, breathing the Manchester air immediately. On Wednesday came the official presentation. On Thursday and Friday, the baptism of blood in training under Roy Keane's challenges. In less than 100 hours, that boy who barely knew how to pronounce the names of his new teammates, who was taken aback by the biting cold of England and who didn't even have a home yet, was thrown to the lions. It was a non-stop ascent, from the grass of Alvalade directly to the main stage of world football, with no time to unpack, but with all the time in the world to prove that a genius does not need adaptation, only opportunity. The debut on August 16, 2003. The drama of the shadows finally found the sunlight on a Saturday afternoon that would change English football forever. The context could not have been heavier. It was the opening round of the 2003-2004 Premier League. Manchester United, the current champions, took the field under a gaze of absolute suspicion. Henry's Arsenal was already winning its matches with ease, and the billionaire Chelsea was showing its teeth. Old Trafford was a pressure cooker with 67,747 hungry fans. Everyone there had a question stuck in their throat. Who is this boy who is worth £12 million and has the audacity to wear Beckham's 7? The opponent was Bolton Wanderers, a physical, tough team coached by the astute Sam Allardyce, a master at grinding skillful players. Cristiano started on the bench, watching the game with contained anxiety. United was winning 1-0 with a free kick goal from Ryan Giggs, but the match was dangerous. Bolton was pressing, United was missing passes, and the atmosphere was one of silent tension, as if the champion was about to stumble right at the start. At the 60th minute of the match, Sir Alex Ferguson decided it was time to unleash the monster. He looked at the bench and signaled for the 18-year-old. As Cristiano took off his warm-up jacket, a murmur rippled through the stands. Before he stepped onto the touchline, Ferguson didn't pull out a tactical board. He acted like a father guiding a son to glory. He gripped Cristiano's shoulder firmly, looked deep into his eyes, and said the words that would echo in the star's mind for decades. Just go out there and enjoy yourself. Show them who you are. When Cristiano stepped onto the pitch at the 61st minute, Manchester United was leading by a thin and dangerous 1-0 thanks to a free kick goal by Ryan Giggs in the first half. The game was tense, Bolton was threatening an equalizer, and the fans were apprehensive. But the entry of the number 7 acted as a chemical catalyst. At the 67th minute, Cristiano received the ball on the left, took on 2 players inside the box, performed a dribble, and almost managed to cross the ball to Giggs, but at the last moment he lost his balance. Cristiano, on only his 4th day since signing, was already showing exactly what he was there for. Shortly after came the moment that almost sealed his debut with a baptism of glory. Cristiano received a long ball from Roy Keane at the goal line and was brought down. Penalty. The stadium chanted Ronaldo's name to take it, but the official taker was Ruud van Nistelrooy. In a moment of dramatic irony, Ruud, who had criticized the boy so much in training, took the shot, and goalkeeper Jussi Eskelinen saved it. The tension between the two was palpable, but Cristiano was not discouraged. But at the 73rd minute, Cristiano didn't get an assist, but the entire play started with him running down the left and launching the ball into the box for Paul Scholes. Scholes passed the ball to Van Nistelrooy, who shot towards the goal, but the attentive goalkeeper parried it, leaving the ball free for Giggs to tap in. Right there, all the veterans who had criticized him saw the goal initiated by the juggling kid. At the 76th minute, for the 3rd goal, let's say there was a refereeing error. In a play where Van Nistelrooy was already offside, he touched the ball and changed its trajectory. Scholes, also offside, took the ball and ran towards the goal. The Bolton defenders, who had already given up the play, certain of the offside, left their goalkeeper alone, and Scholes scored the 3rd. Since there was no VAR back then, the goal was confirmed. To close the massacre, at the 87th minute, in a play that started on the left side, Diego Forlan, in a stroke of genius, received the ball near the box and with a magical pass sent it to Ruud, who finally scored, redeeming himself for his missed penalty. At the 87th minute, Cristiano put on another show of dribbling. He received the ball on the wing, dribbled past 5 players, and was only stopped when they fouled him, showing the fans his absurd speed and incredible ball control at just 18 years old. Cristiano left the field to a standing ovation. The boy who arrived with a carry-on bag and the weight of rejection from European giants now slept as the new owner of the Theater of Dreams. The show pony had just shown that he had the strength of a thoroughbred. And so, in just 30 minutes of magic under the old Trafford sun, the world understood that it was not facing just another player, but a phenomenon that would change the axis of world football. The press's suspicion, the record weight of the 12 million pounds, and the shadows of the giants who preceded him were dissipated by a pair of fast boots and a heart that knew no fear. That afternoon, Cristiano Ronaldo proved that the Theater of Dreams was his stage by right, and the number 7 shirt had found a worthy heir. But the triumphant debut was only the first step of an exhausting marathon. The initial brilliance now needed consistency, and the world waited anxiously for the moment when the net would finally bulge for the first time in English soil. In the next episode, we will follow the physical and mental evolution of the young Portuguese in the merciless Premier League and witness the moment Old Trafford exploded to celebrate his first official goal in the Red Devils shirt, the starting point of a count that would lead him to immortality. Thank you for following episode 6. If you want to see how the King began his history of goals in England, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss episode 7. Your journey to know every detail of CR7's life continues here. See you next time.